Boom, 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 pow. What's going on, America? Michael Tomlinson. I am an Americanteer. Uh, I already done a video today, and it's December the 10th. And then I was out and about running some errands, and I saw my my friend. Well, let me kind of talk about this for a second because I don't know anyone else that is friends with homeless people. You could actually say I'm a friend of this homeless person. Like if I walk up to my friend homeless person, my friendship, if I walk up to him, he knows we know each other. We've had conversations. He knows my name. He recognizes me. Knows what I drive. And we've kind of been there for each other for a couple of years now. And there's two of them in this city right now that I hang out with. There's Steve and Thomas. And how, and in other cities or in the past, I became friends with this is not a new thing. I've been doing this since I was like a teenager. I remember hanging out with people like that when I was a teenager. But that's not really the point. The thing is that it made me think and reflect on how that even happens. Because there's homeless people everywhere. There are little tent cities everywhere, little setups everywhere, and I can't say I can walk up in front of that grocery store where three or four homeless people are there or down and out people and become friends with them. That's almost impossible. And definitely not. So how it made me think, like, how do I even, like, I don't even know how I find these people, or they find me, or I find them, or how that comes together. It just does. I see the individual over and over again, same intersection, and after a while, I pull over. I start asking questions. I start having conversations. And it's not like one of those things where I bring food or money, or I don't have any of that kind of like charity kind of thinking going on. This is not, it's not charity that I'm there for. It's not like I want to say, oh, here's a, Ziploc bag full of things for you to have. I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I've never done this. I really become friends with these people. And sometimes they need help, sometimes they don't. And they'll hit me up sometimes, and sometimes they don't. And that's how that goes. But the main thing is that we actually have conversations, we actually have dialogue, and we catch up with each other's life in a sense. Even though we live completely different lives, it's my job and my mission, it always has been, to participate with homeless people or a homeless person's life. It's not like I can save all the homeless, but if I become friends with one, that is one step closer to working on solutions. The treatment of respect, the return of dignity. I'm not going to treat you like you're invisible, because you're not invisible to me. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. I've always kind of been this way. um, and and then there must be some voice in my head that kind of makes me click over to gravitate toward certain individuals who are homeless, and right now there's two. Um, However, Steve hasn't been around lately, and but last time I was hanging out with him, he told me that he was maybe going to be getting a disability check, and then he was going to move to an actual like weekly motel room or a cheap apartment, that he can just kind of live, with outside of living underneath the bridge that's by the railroad tracks. That's where he lived. So I haven't seen him in a few months. So I'm hoping that that's good. That's happened. It's shaken. It's moving. He's stepped out from that space and moved on to a different place. And but at the same time, my homeless friend Thomas, who's like on the other side of the bridge, and popped back up. And but this time he's in a wheelchair. When I last saw him last about 8 months ago, he was on a walker, and we've had to go pick up. I've had to take him to the store to pick up walkers because people will take his walker from him. Back then, the other street people would just steal his stuff, and know that he couldn't get around because he's very disabled, and living on the streets it's brutal, man. Those guys don't. It's a tough life to observe, uh, and that's all I really do. That's just being an Americanteer. That's just being a good person, and instead of like rejecting, uh, homeless people. But I understand if you do that, because I run across these groups of homeless. I've hung out at these little tent cities too before, or individual tents. I just walk up to the tent, knock on the tent, say, what's going on, find out what's going on, and have a conversation with the people living in the tent, especially in my neighborhood. If I see a tent go up, which I haven't in a while, which is sad because when I first moved in, there was a couple of locations that were pretty much regular tent spots, but they eventually got chased off and run off by the neighborhood or the little community that lives in the same area as me, obviously, but they were not positive with it all. And I always try to give it a nice, we're in this together, except I have an apartment and you have a tent. Uh, One girl described it to me as, she's like, well, it's kind of like camping, but not really. And so that was like, wow. So some of these people are pretty intelligent. They are not really part of this other part, which is probably what people see the most, which is the most down and out, like, alcoholics, drug addicts, homeless, can't manage their life in any way, and those are the people that sit around in the gas stations and stores and stuff, hitting people up for money, and I've never really been friends with those people, because it's just a whole different vibe. And I've been working with homeless people for a long time. I used to hand out cupcakes to homeless people like 8 years ago. I've been doing things with homeless people for a long time, and I discovered 3 different categories of homelessness. Um, and we'll get to that in the future. There's so much to talk about when it comes to that. But the point is that I'm the only person I know that's that's like that or doing that or can even do that at all. Because it's not easy. You kind of have to, you know, take that, follow your heart and stop, pull over, get out of my vehicle, walk over to the person and it's so difficult to do when it's time to do it because we're so preoccupied with ourselves or even me preoccupied with the things I'm doing that I'm like, God, I don't have an extra 5 minutes. I don't have an extra 10 minutes to do this right now. But in reality, I really do. I just don't want to do it. But I end up doing it anyways, and becoming friends with certain individuals. In other cities, I have not become friends, but I've as part of my Christian fellowship tour, I definitely have done hands-on prayer with homeless people. And those are the people that I'm talking about, like in front of stores or coffee shops or, just down and out. They have some heavy, heavy baggage, and I'm not a professional. I can't even deal with that. But what I could do at the time was pray over them. The power of prayer to ask, whomever is out there, Jesus, God, the universe, anyone, help this individual. And so I've done, I'm not going to get heavy on that because that's a whole other story too. But I've done that too, like in the past. And it's a beautiful. I mean, these are experiences that I've gone through, on my own, and they're just such beautiful experiences, that every Americanteer, if you have 1 minute, 5 minutes to start building a relationship with, listen to your heart, you'll find that person, you'll be guided to that person, like I have. And once you are, it's up to you, like me, to take the action to be a part of it. And grow with it at the same time. And that's why I believe in being an Americanteer. Because I have proven to myself, and I can prove to you, and I can prove to everybody that this works. This can happen. It's not impossible. It's not ugly. It's not dangerous. It's a very loving, beautiful thing that we can share, and that can be shared with anyone from the homeless person all the way up to the college educated person. It doesn't matter. I have a lot of good friends who are attorneys, and I love hanging out with attorneys. They have some. It's just fun to have conversations with them, because they are smart and they're semi-intelligent, and I enjoy conversations with attorneys because they can be so just swabby about how they word things and present things, and that's always fascinated me. I've always thought, like, man, you are an attorney. I mean, they just live, breathe, eat, drink. I don't know. Everything about them, the way they speak, mainly the words they choose, how they frame things, is I find it very cool. So, anyways, those are that doesn't really matter. I'm just talking about different statuses here, about how I participate or treat other people too, not just homeless people and anything like that. But this is a good time of the year to talk about that. Because no one ever talks about some positive thing about homelessness, and how to help and how to be a part of it. And doing what I'm doing will help a ton. If we all did that little bit without, you don't have to join a group or, have a timesheet. You're just an Americanteer when the moment presents itself, seize it. And that's what Americanteers do. And that's how change is going to happen. Not because you have to do it, it's because you want to do it. You want to be a part of it. Be a part of the joy. Be a part of the change. Man, you just can't even buy that stuff. Once it's accomplished, you can't, it is such God, what's the word I'm looking for? A privilege, in a sense, to serve on that level. And this is something I'm talking about right now in front of the camera because I was hanging out with my homeless friend Thomas earlier today. But this is something I just don't really talk about to anyone at all. Like the people that are probably going to watch this video are going to realize, they're like, oh, I didn't realize that you did this or you participate in that too. These are, there's so many things that can happen throughout someone's life. And it's not something, I just don't share it. It's just something that I do. It's a part of what I do. And so sharing this right now, I'm hoping that I can inspire other people to join the Americanteers and to know what I'm talking about when it comes to that level. I'm not trying to say that this is join and you have to help homeless people. There's so many other things to be helpful with that doesn't have anything to do with tent cities or homeless people or anything like that. It's just a different calling. Everyone has a different calling and a different perspective and a different way they want to step into it, their own comfort level. So that all comes into play, and we'll find something just as cool and just as awesome for you, like me. It's it's things will change organically. It's not like you have to write a policy or you have to, reinvent a solution, what to do. That's what we do. First baby step is just jump in and start helping. Jump in and take action. Don't be a bystander. Don't be a watcher. Enjoy the free thinking and the free action that you can do to participate with your community. That's some free thinking stuff, man. You have to be a free thinker. Break all that nasty stuff away that people have put on us and join the Americanteers, which we can even reset our own brain to be positive and productive members of our society and our community. And that's another part of change. There's other parts of the story that I'm not even revealing because I'm just barely revealing the fact that I even do this. But there are other parts that I can't wait to share in the future, because it really has a lot to do with, you can really see the matrix. You can really see the spiritual battlefield, of what's going on. when you get that close to it, it's just there. And we'll talk about that in the future too. That's another subject to talk about. But I'm glad we're able to touch bases with what I'm just talking about. So have you are fantastic. Do not give up. Be a part of change. Join me. Let's change the world. Hell yeah, why not? Okay, have a good one. Peace, love. See ya.